Guns, guns, and more guns are always welcomed with open arms by the Payday gang, and their good pal Gage was more than ready to supply their demands, with new toys, weapon mods, and even an addition to their arsenal. This is Gage Weapon Pack 1. Released on December 5th, 2013, Gage Weapon Pack 1 is the first Weapon Pack DLC, and was a major deviation. No heist this time, but instead a new toy to play around with. On top of that, we're given a primary, 2 secondaries, a handful of weapon mods, 4 masks, materials and patterns, and 10 achievements. We'll be ranking each category out of 5 for a max of 20. So, let's find out. Is Gage Weapon Pack 1 still worth it? During Payday 2's release, we weren't given a quick way to deal with crowds and especially shields. Sure, you could spray and pray or circle around, but that doesn't work all the time. Introducing the Humble Grenade. Whilst their amount is low, their impact is big. Just a single toss and whatever's in your way will cease to be. Just make sure whatever's in your way doesn't fire back. Obviously, now in 2025, we have a lot of ways to deal with shields in large groups, so grenades are nothing new, especially frags, as players without DLC have access to the HEF grenade and the Matryoshka grenades. On top of them, players who own the DLC can purchase the grenade case asset. 3 charges, and they give back a single grenade on use. Helpful for players with limited throwables, but don't be that guy who uses them for knives, spears, or playing cards. When this DLC released, everyone was also given access to a fire mode selector for every compatible gun. Nowadays you could switch from semi-auto to full auto any day, all day, but back then you had to stick with what the game gave you, and if the game wanted you to use the M308 in single fire, you just had to trust them. However, owning the DLC gives you access to the semi-auto and full auto locks, which make guns only available to do one or the other, with single fire increasing the accuracy at the cost of stability, and the full auto increasing damage and stability at the cost of accuracy. I'll give the gameplay additions a 5. Grenades are still a useful tool, even if frags have been outclassed by other throwables, and the case and fire selector locks are a small addition, but heavily useful. Second verse, same as the first. 1 primary and 2 secondaries with a handful of mods to boot. This time, instead of a sight, it's 2 grips. The rubber grip grants +4 accuracy and stability with 0 downsides, and is so good you can't even put it on the new rifle that comes with the DLC. And the straight grip increases concealment by 2, with again 0 downsides. Both of these are so useful they're still used in builds today. Even if the straight grip has 2 more specialised cousins that came out years later, it's still a top choice. The primary of this pack is the Eagle Heavy Rifle, based on the Fabrique Nationale Scar H. This beast of metal is a high damage, high accuracy rifle with low concealment and an even lower ammo pickup rate. With ammo being an issue, this weapon is still amazing. No need for a single fire lock when this bad boy is effective as a dozer clearer and a DMR, all with the push of a button. Next is the Spec Ops submachine gun, based on the Heckler & Koch MP7A1. Spray and pray and a small package, high fire rate, a low base mag size, and middle of the road stats. The only benefit I've seen is the fact that the suppressed barrel mod is better than most suppressors for SMGs, which is really funny. Other than that, it's not that impressive. And finally, the Signature 40, based on the Sig Sauer P226R. Despite the joke that the 40 Smith & Wesson is for people who don't know how to min-max, the Sig 40 is just a carbon copy of the Crosskill pistol with 1 worse threat, 6 less total ammo, but an extra 2 rounds in a mag. The other benefit is that with the extended mag option, it gives it 8 more ammo in a mag without harming the concealment. Honestly making this thing a pretty good pistol for dodge or even in stealth situations that need more ammo. No gun facts for today, as the guns are pretty self-explanatory. no mods to turn them into their siblings, or major references to pop culture. I'll give the weapons a 3. Unassuming, but pretty damn fun all things regardless. Unlike the Armoured Transport Pack, no celebratory mask for the release, so all we got were 4 masks named after movie stars. Arnold the Bulldog, Chuck the Eagle, Dolph the Goat, and Jean-Claude the Panda. Other than being animal masks, these aren't really anything special. I personally don't like animal masks minus the hotline ones, but hey, at least it's a goat mask without having to play the goat sim heist. The materials are as follows: oily metal, galvanized steel, fur, and heavy metal. These materials look really nice, so much so that even my least favourite can probably work on a mask with the right pattern. Speaking of, patterns are as follows: Digital Camo, The Vet, Commando, and Hunter. These are okay, with Digital Camo and The Vet being the ones I can see getting the most use from anyone. Commando has problems with squished masks, and Hunter just needs the right mask to look right. As done previously with the last pack, here's a mask made using everything that it has to offer. I am a bit upset the Dolph mask doesn't have colourable areas like some modern masks do. I'll give the customization options a 2. The masks aren't terrible, the materials are okay, and the patterns are decent. However, that's all they are. Ten new achievements dropped with this DLC. 3 are unlockable by everyone, technically, we'll get to that, and 7 are DLC exclusive. Let's start with the easier of the paid ones. Inception, Hard Corps, and Above the Law require 100 kills with each of the DLC weapons. Not a bad set of achievements, although no one likes number crunching. The next 4 require using the respective animal mask, and like with the last DLC, you have to get lucky or download a mod to get them. Funnily enough, every weapon wielded with every mask is from the actor's respective country of origin. Commando requires 100 kills with the UAR, whilst wearing the Arnold mask, a reference to Arnie's Austrian origins with the UAR being based off the Steyr AUG, and a reference to the movie of the same name. Wanted requires 100 kills with the AK-5 whilst wearing the Dolph mask. The AK-5 is a Swedish-made version of the Fabrik National carbine, in line with Dolph being a Swede. Although Wanted isn't a movie Dolph Lundgren was in, so I don't know why it's called that. 3,000 Miles to the Safe House requires 100 kills with the Cobus 90 whilst wearing the Jean-Claude mask. Jean-Claude Van Damme is Belgian, and the Cobus 90 is based off the FNP 90. 3,000 Miles to Graceland, however, does not feature Jean-Claude, however it is a heist movie and was referenced in a later DLC. And finally, Public Enemies requires 100 kills with the Crosskill pistol whilst wearing the Chuck mask. Chuck Norris and 1911s are about as American as you can get, although the achievement itself is a reference to the hip-hop group Public Enemy and the lead vocalist Chuck D, which is such an out-of-left-field reference it loops back around to being genius. After that, there's the stuff you can get without the DLC. Kinda. Fire in the Hole tasks you with throwing 100 grenades. I don't know if this counts all grenades or just frags in this pack, but getting a build with fully loaded Ace and the Stockpiler AI crew boost will make this go by much quicker. Guns Are Like Shoes requires you to buy and fill 72 weapon slots with guns. At release, this might have meant 72 copies of the Amcar, but nowadays that's probably just 50% of the guns in the game. Probably in the assault rifle category. And last, but not least, Share the Love, which requires players to buy the grenade case asset 100 times. Unlike the other 2 or the other 7, this one can be unlocked by people who don't own the DLC, but requires someone in their lobby to have had it. Annoying, but I suppose it's easy. Still, I'd give these achievements a 2. Whilst a pain in the ass to grind 100 kills, it's not the most horrible thing you'd have to deal with, but the amount of grinding for no reward does make the pain sting just a tad bit more. 5, 3, 2, and 2. Add that all up and you get a nice and even 12, putting it right next to armor transport. The first Gage weapon pack offered a new and interesting spin for the Heister's kit, but sometimes a delicious cake can make up for mediocre icing. Before we head off, I wanted to highlight this comment on the previous video by Miss Starry, mentioning some legacy facts about the armor transport. I do appreciate the facts about the 2 secondaries' effectiveness on DSOD. I personally never touched that difficulty with a 10-foot pole, but I'm glad they do have their uses. I also agree the grouper skins look way better than the Bernays. Next time, we'll be covering the second Gage weapon pack, and I hope you're ready for the difficulty tweak it brings. Take care everyone, and remember, pull the pin and share the love.